I kind of said, okay, I'm going to approach this debate in the way I'd approach a debating competition, but having listened to the speeches, I don't think that that's the right thing to do. So today I want to talk to you about actually whether I would choose to believe in a God. To do that, I need to give you a little bit of my background, so just for 2 seconds. I was born and raised Catholic. I lived in a Protestant area. I went to a Jewish school. I now study Islam, and I have a massive passion for classical studies. So whilst I call myself agnostic, I do have a massive respect for religions and things like that. But today, I don't want to talk to you about the pros and cons of religion. I don't want to talk to you about the evidence. I just want to talk to you about whether I would choose to believe. Okay? Because tonight I don't think is about the positive and negatives. I think it's about the choice. So to start off, right. So in ancient Greece, the reason they had gods were for 2 reasons. They talked about like means of explaining and the way they explained their world around them. They also used it to maintain social norms and behaviors. So for the first of that, volcanoes, for an example, the way they described them was they said that that was a monster living under a volcano, and every time a volcano erupted, that was the monster screaming out. So now I think in modern worlds, we've come past the need for a god. We've come past, for that reason, we've come past the need to say, like, the reason the world is happening, because we understand that. We understand that through sciences now. So when first I can't remember your name, tells us like that we have God to explain why the world exists, I think we've moved past that. I think we understand the world. So that brings my speech mainly to the second reason why cultures have had gods for so long, and that is to explain and to keep order and to explain why we're really here. I think a lot of the time God as the idea has been used to manipulate people. And I don't want to choose in a God that does that. I think a lot of the time God is used to say, do X and you'll go to heaven, or don't do Y or you'll go to hell. And I think as someone who has their own opinions and as someone who lives in a world where we're allowed to have our own opinions, I don't think it's right to choose to believe in someone who kind of dictates where your life is supposed to go and how you're supposed to live it. Yeah. So to sum that up, I think choosing to believe in a God is choosing to believe in a different set of law and order. And I think most people should maybe try and choose to live in the world that we live in now, and the law and order that we see now, and the society that we are in now. Right. So what Aideen and Eoin both talked about, like the feeling of being alone and the feeling that being alone can be very scary. I think that, yeah, I understand, and I myself have thought about it like, God, I'm alone, that's really scary, and God, if there was a God, wouldn't that be lovely that he or she could like look after me and make sure that was okay? But the reason I wouldn't choose to believe in a God for that reason is I think that when you invest yourself in that, when you tell yourself that God will be there for you, and that even if something doesn't go too well, that God has a plan, I think that makes you see that there is no real choice in the world, that if something bad happens, first of all, you can be let down by the fact that God isn't actually there for you to help you through things a lot of the time. Like when a family member dies, or when you don't get the college course you want, or you don't get whatever it is that you want, and you don't see a massive change happening in your life because the God you thought was there isn't actually there to help you through. I think that can let you down a lot. I think sometimes that if you've been brought up by your parents to believe God will be there to help you, and then you realize that your opinions and your beliefs or your sexual orientation or whatever goes against the religion or the God that you've believed in, I think that can actually let you down a lot more than being someone that doesn't believe in a God and maybe feels a little bit alone here and there and now. I think what I would choose and encourage people to choose is believing in yourself and believing in the people around you and believing in that is what will get you through life, and that is what will encourage you to be passionate and to choose different things, because I think they're the people you can count on, they're the people you can be certain about. You can definitely be certain that you're going to be there for yourself because you're you. Like, I think that I wouldn't choose, okay, so I don't think emotion and fear, which is kind of what a lot of Eoin and Aideen were talking about, I don't think emotion and fear should make you choose to believe in God. I think it might make you feel you want to choose in God, or believe in God, I think it might make you think that you need to believe in God. But I don't think it should make you choose to believe in God, because I think you should have enough power in yourself to choose who you are and what morals you believe in. I think you should have enough power in yourself to know where you want to go in life and not need God to put you through that. And finally, what I want to talk to you about is I want to talk about believing in a God that has, in so many cases, brought out the worst in people. I think when we hear from proposition how believing in a God can help you be more human, I think that, first of all, is a little bit of a slap in the face to anyone who doesn't believe in God. I think that anyone can be as human as they want, and I think by that definition of human, as in morals and family and society, I think even those who would call themselves atheists or agnostic or whatever are still just as lovely people in society and just care as much for their fellow human being as anyone else. But I think when you tell yourself that you believe in God, you connect yourself to a God that has seen so much death and hatred done in his name, or her name. I think that the fact that you, like, when this is about choice and not just about faith, if it's about choice to believe in something, I would never choose to believe in something that has been for so long associated with murders and death. So if you think about like the Crusades even, or like more closer to home, the Magdalene sisters, when these are connected to God and connected to people who believed what they were doing was living the word of God, I would never choose to live and follow the word of God that allows such things to happen. I think the fact that your parents bring you up and tell you don't ask people about their religion, like religion and politics, the two things you don't talk about to a stranger, I think the fact that religion is that contentious an issue, the fact that believing in a God is that scary an issue that you might actually start a fight with someone over your belief in a God, I think that is a reason I would definitely never choose to believe in a God, and those are the reasons I beg you to oppose.